Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Wave Work Stress Goodbye. And this episode is the nature of thought, why corporate work stress feels so real, and why it passes. So before we get deep into this episode, I just want to tell you a couple of things that are coming up in the next few weeks. So after this episode, I'm going back to doing guests. I've got 4 guests lined up with various different backgrounds, different characters, very deep conversations to be had. I'm really looking forward to having them with these people. So if you're enjoying my episodes, whether that be solo episodes or the guest ones, please feel free to like, follow and share the show out to somebody you may know. It really does help the show, and if you are a new listener or a returning listener, I really do appreciate your time listening to my content. So on with the episode this week. So the nature of thought then. So let's ask ourselves a question before we really get into it. Do we all think? And the answer is yes. You can't argue with that, can you? Every single person on planet Earth thinks. You can't deny that fact. We are all thinking creatures. And I mentioned on another episode a couple of months back, but a guy called Sydney Banks, who was a Scottish welder back in the 1970s, had a profound experience of how life truly worked, and his discovery is the core foundation of the content and teachings I teach back to you guys on these episodes. His discovery changed the face of psychology. It flipped it on its head. In a nutshell, he discovered that nothing outside of us could make us feel anything inside of us. It's all an internal game that we're all playing. And Sid broke that down into 3 components. He broke it down into mind, which is the spiritual essence of life. So the spiritual essence of all things, not just humans, not just animals, not just, the trees we see and the clouds we see in the sky, but what's beyond all that? What is the glue? What is the magic that makes all of the form that we see happen? So that's mind. He also said consciousness, which was being aware of the fact we were thinking creatures and that we were alive. So we can do it right now. Listen to this episode, talk to me. You can have a thought about my content, my podcast recording right now. Listen to it. And you can think it's shit, you can think it's good, and you can be aware that you're thinking those thoughts, right? And then there's thought, the component of thought itself, which is what I want to talk about the deepest on this episode. I'm not going to talk about mind, I'm not going to talk about consciousness. I'm going to keep it simple for you and focus on the component of thought that Sid broke down all those years ago. If you're interested in hearing more about Sid, if you go back into my archives, my library, my podcast episodes, I think it's around late May, early June, you can find the episode in there. In fact, when I upload this episode, I'll link it also, so you can listen to this and then follow on with that one if you'd like to do so. So we're going to talk about thought and the nature of thought and how fluid it is. And I'm going to flip the tables now and point this back to you. And I want you to go through a typical day at work. So if you're a corporate professional listening to this, you will have a day at work, and no day is the same, right? And you'll put that down to because everything in the outside world was different that day. And that's true. You can't deny the fact that it's not Groundhog Day. You don't wake up in the morning, have the same commute to work, the boss came at the exact same time, the boss took you there at the exact same time, you saw the same people as you walked through the door, you got the same emails coming through, you got the same phone calls, you have lunch at this time, you get the picture, right? No day is the same in the outside world. True, very true. It's different in the outside world as well. However, we believe that different day has the influence to make us feel and think inside of us. And it's not true. The outside world will be different each and every day, irrespective of your thinking. I'll rephrase that, because I don't think I phrased that particularly very well, but your thoughts influence the way you think and feel, and that's going to be different on a daily basis, and that's irrespective of what's going on in the outside world, in your day. That's a better way of explaining it. Because we are thinking creatures and thought is so fluid. So you could wake up in the morning and feel horrendous, feel like the day's going to start off the day's going to be really bad. You'll feel like you've got a pit in your stomach. You'll feel anxious and depressed. And then you pot around in the morning, you get dressed, you have a shower, you get some breakfast, and you feel somewhat better. And you think you probably feel better because you've had a shower and got dressed and had some breakfast. So you're thinking, oh, those things must have made me feel something. Yeah, no. What's happened is your thinking has changed. See the difference? But we kind of link the two together, don't we? Innocently, because that's what we've been taught from a young age. And then you'll do the commute and you'll be stressed out of the traffic, or you won't be stressed out of the traffic and you'll just do a podcast and chill out. You'll get to work and then you'll have a chat with a colleague and you'll feel this way and that way, and you'll open your email inbox and then you'll feel another sinking in your stomach again, and and then you answer those emails and then you feel better again, and then you have your lunch break and then you think, well, you might think, oh, I've got another afternoon of this shit, or you might also think, I've only got an afternoon to go now, I'm halfway through, we're getting there, the day's nearly over, I can see it, I can sense it. And then you go home and you feel elated because the day has finished, and you go to bed at night and you feel a little bit anxious again because you've got the scaries about the day, about what's going to happen the next day. Now, that is the nature of thought. Totally in action in a theoretical day at work. Because despite what was going on in the outside world in that theoretical person's day, their thinking throughout the day flowed. And that's the nature of thought. It flows, it changes, it moves. It's never stuck. We just think it's stuck when it's something we don't like and we hang on to it for dear life. And I had this exact experience myself yesterday. I had a day at work yesterday, and I noticed that because my consciousness on this particular day yesterday was a level where I could see what was going on. Now, I'm not saying that I always see that. I don't. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm often like you might be. I forget, and I blame the outside circumstances of my life. Whether I'm not being paid enough, or I've got too much work on, whether the family at home are annoying me. I blame all that on, I blame my thoughts and feelings on all that. It's not true. My thoughts and feelings yesterday were irrespective of what was going on in my day. And I'm not joking, the amount of emotions I thought yesterday was mind-blowing. One minute I felt optimistic, I felt happy, next minute I was pissed off, next minute I was anxious. Next moment, I was irritated, and it just kept going. It just kept flipping. Next minute, I was pensive. It just kept flipping all the time from one emotion to another, and things did change in the outside world. Yes, they did, but at the same time, not a lot. And it was funny to me how the nature of thought was in overdrive because I picked some certain emotions yesterday in my day. I didn't willingly pick them, they just came to me. There's nothing I could really do about them. Or the best way to do that is just to notice them and let them fly through. And this is the huge thing, the huge realisation for you, corporate worker, if you're listening to this and are anxious and depressed at your job or stressed about it. Your daily roller coaster of your thoughts, feelings and emotions are not linked to the outside world. You're the one doing it. It's a bitter pill to swallow, I know. It might be and you might be listening to this thinking, what a load of tosh, Luke. What are you on about? Of course that's not true. Of course the outside world affects what I'm thinking in it. Or on the flip side, you might be listening to this and thinking, holy mother of fuck. That's true. It's right. And then you go off for the next 10 minutes and realise how true it is. And then 10, 20 minutes later, you've forgotten again, like I forget. I've just said I forget. And you go into your old habits of, blaming the outside world for your experience. And if you're doing that, don't worry, you're not the only one. Each and every one of us does it. Even the most spiritual people out there who understand this inside out nature of life will lose themselves, will lose their true self and go like you and me do. They'll blame the outside world and then they realise deeper down the line, they go, oh, I fell for it again. And that's okay, because we're all human, and that's what we do, because the human experience of how the human psyche works is so real, so compelling, that we're bound to fall for it. It's life's biggest, best kept secret, and it's the best magic trick that's going. You go to, Vegas and watch a magic show and you see the illusion of it all, that's nothing compared to what we're trying to talk about here. This is life's biggest magic show. And it's all right under our noses and we all don't see it for what it really is. And it's just so simple. I've made it sound so simplistic on this recording, but it's hard to see. It's hard to see when your head isn't in the right mindset. So I do recommend that if you listen to this podcast and you weren't in the right mindset to listen to it, if you've got this far, that when you are in the right mindset at a certain time, listen to it again and then really take it in, because it really is life-changing stuff, what I'm trying to portray to you. And I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet with that, say I'm special, I'm a guru, I'm life's best teacher, because I'm not. And nobody is, for that matter, because we're all one, we're all the same. Every human being is no better than another. We innocently see that one human being is better than the other because it's the way we've grown up. If we see someone extremely academic and successful and see someone homeless, then we often will find ourselves judging both and, naturally being drawn to the most successful person of the two and saying they're more successful than the homeless person. Now, is that really true when you look at the behind the scenes of it all? Because despite the successful, professional having all the success and money, the homeless person not having two pairs to rub together, end of the day, that's a human being and that's a human being. And that human being works the same way and that human being works the same way. And the nature of thought flows through both people. So when you look at life that way, no one is better than the other, but we innocently see that people are because of outside circumstances and possessions. Now, this is the good news for you to wrap this episode up this week about the nature of thought and you being a corporate professional in your job. Because when you are caught up at work in the moment, which you will do time and time again, and as long as you can bring yourself back to notice what's really going on, but the outside world will be the outside world. You can't control that, just let it happen and deal with it the best you can do. And you deal with it the best you can do by noticing what's going on inside of yourself, because what's going on inside of yourself is irrespective of the outside game. What's going on in the outside. And the inner game allows you to notice your emotions, notice that it's the nature of thought in action, and it flows through you, it changes, it's not fixed. It's only fixed if you allow it to be fixed by going over it, by getting obsessed with it, and going over and over again in your head. And if you allow the nature of thought to flow through you, like birds in the sky do, then there'll be space within you to make the right decision in the outside world. That's the key to it all. Life can be really easy if we just allow it to be. It's only when we kind of hold on to the negative that we get ourselves stuck and we think it's forever. And that's not true. It can't be. And if we just allow the thoughts and thinking to flow through us, the nature of thought, just be and flow through us and just let it pass, then you can be the best version of yourself at work and the best version of yourself in your personal life as well. And if you enjoyed that episode and you want to learn, if you're stressed at work and you want to learn more about the inside out nature of life and you just want to have a chat with me for 30 minutes, I offer a free 30-minute clarity call. All you got to do is find the link in the description and book a date and time that's available that suits you. and in there you'll see a free work stress scan in there that you can gladly get just by putting your email address in, and then the email will fire back at you with the guide. And if you want to contact me directly about anything about your work stress, and if you'd be open to maybe a talk about it, I'm on social media, so don't hesitate to get me on DMs on Instagram and LinkedIn as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can on that as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed talking deeply about the nature of thought and how it flows through you. And remember, if you forget about the nature of thought, don't worry, because the beauty about realization and noticing is that's available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't go anywhere, it can't go anywhere, because that's the force of nature of how life truly works. And I'll speak to the next recording. Take care. Bye bye now. Bye bye. If this episode resonated with you, then feel free to connect with me on Instagram or LinkedIn, where I share more insights on work stress, leadership pressure, and the inside out understanding. You can also contact me directly via email at onethoughtaway1988@gmail.com. And if you're navigating pressure in your own career, you can download my free work stress guide using the link in the show notes. Until next time, take care, and remember, work stress might feel real in the moment, but it isn't who you really are. Thank you.